All right, so here we are, Gateway, and we're talking about our mindset in the next few weeks. I'm talking about self sabotage and really how we self talk the words that we speak to ourselves, which inevitably we say to other people if we're not careful. And we're going to kick off this week talking about self sabotage. So I kind of want to jump into your profession, what you do that's filled with pressure, especially pressure moments. Tell us like the best piece of advice or a couple of pieces of advice that you've ever received when it comes to your mindset, literally your mindset, not your technique, but about your mindset into the game of kicking as a part of football.
That's an easy one for me. My grandfather told me when I was basically trying out for the varsity football team my sophomore year at Westlake. He repeated to me what he had always told me, which is, Justin, just kick the damn ball. I don't know how gateway friendly that may be, but it's the truth. So
Yeah.
that is to this day the best advice that I've ever uh, I've ever heard, as far as you know that I can apply on the football field.
And tell me, on the other end of that, the other spectrum, I mean, you're a pro, you got a lot of people speaking into you, you get critics, you get people trying to help you, everybody's speaking into what you do as a high level kicker. What's the worst piece of advice somebody's ever given you about your mindset and kicking?
Maybe less advice than it is like a message, or just a couple of words right before I'm about to go kick a ball. Like in high school or middle school, at one point, I can't even remember who it was, but somebody said to me as I'm like about to run onto the field to kick a ball, "Hey, don't mess this up." Like, what? And then, of course, I go out there and that's like the only thing I can think about is like, okay, well, don't mess this up. And like all I'm telling myself in that moment is stuff I don't need to hear. It's all just, it's all negative. I don't need to hear that. I don't need to be thinking about that. So that's probably the worst advice, if you will, that I've heard right before I'm about to go kick a ball.
Okay, so you're now a veteran kicker, proud to say Super Bowl champion, which is pretty amazing. A most accurate kicker in NFL history, above 100 kicks is what I read. Do you ever have moments where your thoughts just get the best of you? And what do you do in that moment?
There have been times where it's been just like, for whatever reason, harder to focus on the task at hand,
Hmm.
because my mind may be busy, and um, or I might be feeling particularly nervous or anxious before I attempt to kick. And something that I've really leaned into over the last several years is that my feelings are important only in the sense that I recognize that they're there, and I diagnose what the feelings may be, and I process them as quickly as possible, so that they are truly unimportant when I'm trying to do what's important, what actually is important, and that's
Hmm.
kick the ball,
Yeah.
like my grandfather said. So um, my feelings are there. They are real. Everybody has emotions and feelings and thoughts, but when it comes to executing a skill in the span of 1.3 seconds between the time the ball leaves our snapper's fingers, it's spotted by our holder, and it leaves my foot, that all happens in 1.3 seconds. And thinking about anything other than the action of seeing the ball
Hmm.
spotted and seeing it leave my foot is uh, just it's just unimportant. It's a diversion. It's a distraction.
Yeah.
And what I've leaned into more recently is just acknowledging my feelings are there, and then realizing that they're not important. I just focus on the action and not the consequence.
Yeah. In scripture, it says that your heart can deceive you, right? Your emotions can deceive you, and they're real, like you said, but sometimes your emotions work against you in certain moments. And so, a little more specific on that, you talk about distractions, knowing that I mean, from what I've read in interviews, people love having you as a teammate. So in 2020, we know it's been a year of global issues, COVID, racial unrest, political polarization, economic uncertainty, no fans at stadiums, all that stuff. How do you navigate what is happening in the world and with your teammates, your brothers, and just focus on your job when you hear a lot of NFL players saying it's just a job, right? There's all these bigger issues in the world. How are you navigating that in your heart and then in your mind?
I mean, it's almost impossible to navigate it with. Um, it's almost impossible to navigate on your own.
Hmm.
So what we do is we all talk. We talk to each other. We might be a bunch of grown men in the NFL playing a man's game, a violent game at times where people are, hitting each other as hard as they
Yeah.
possibly can. Fighting their tails off every single play for an inch at a time. But we all are also human beings that are fully susceptible to, the outside influences of the world,
Yeah.
whatever they may be. So, uh, we have so many different personalities and backgrounds that guys that I've played with that they come from, and we talk about it. We talk about our experiences. We talk about our thoughts. We talk about our feelings, and uh, that ultimately just brings us closer together as a team. I would say the key to processing any of that is even if you feel like you're alone, just know somebody else out there feels it maybe in a similar way, or they're having like thoughts, and it's important to just talk about them.
All right, switching up a little bit. This last weekend, I was watching your wild card game that you won. Congratulations on that. And I saw you missed a field goal. Sorry to bring it up. But
Thanks.
and you broke that streak, but then you came back and you hit a 50-plus yarder. I think it was 52 yards. So tell us what you did, practically what you did or thought in the time between the miss and the comeback made field goal.
There are things that technically I can point to very specifically, uh, but at the end of the day, I just didn't make the kick. It's almost tough to describe, like how, like, it's anguish, it's agony, it's um, disappointment,
Yeah.
like disillusion. I'm just like, man, is this even really happening? Did I just did that? Like I messed that up, or I failed in that moment. Um, and your body just gets like hot, and there's like, nothing you can do about it.
Hmm.
As I'm, kind of going through that in a pretty short period of time, I'm also, recognizing that, well, the only thing that I might be able to do about this is make my next kick,
Hmm.
provided I get an opportunity. And now I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, I've been basically blessed with this opportunity again for,
Hmm.
pretty much immediate redemption. And the only thing that I can do at this point is focus on the action of kicking the ball and not the consequence of what happens after this kick or any kick that happened prior. Like none of that actually matters. The
Hmm.
only thing that matters is me seeing the ball snapped and me kicking it on the field in that moment. There's, every feeling that I just described, that about missing a kick,
Hmm.
especially missing one that you really want to have back. The exact opposite feeling just like washes over you in this amazing wave of relief and elation and joy and excitement, gratitude, and you know all of those things. So appreciating every single one of those moments is, I think, I mean, it's part of what kind of makes me have an existential crisis every single day. Is, well, if I didn't experience the negative moments, or if no one in the world ever experienced, you know, bad things, if you will, then it would make the great, amazing blessings that we experience in life, maybe they would not, feel as amazing or as great. At the same time, like, to get super existential on you,
Yeah, I love it.
like God created all of us in His image, and I think a part of that is having, the human experience of feeling every emotion, every feeling on the spectrum, and having that total picture is reminiscent of, why God created mankind. It's so we could have all of those experiences and feelings, and in a way become closer to our creator.
Yeah.
And I know that might be a little bit off the wall for, music major, guy who kicks footballs for a living, but um, that's just kind of like it's kind of the journey that I think we are all on, and in a way we're all on it together. But just leaning into every single, being mindful and present in every single moment, whether it makes you feel bad or good or somewhere in between.
Yeah.
um, that's part of like the human experience that makes us in a way closer to the image that God may have intended for us.
Mhm.